I'm here in Chase River, just north of Stockett Junction. I was also here a week ago, and I've come back because I found something that really intrigued me, and I want to look into it further. When I was here last week, I was here to see the Stockett Junction and the junction to the Wellcox Spur. So I found that, but I found two things that I wasn't expecting. One is I found the old rails for the Stockett Siding. The rails weren't connected, but they were there. And then I found another set of rails close to that, further into the woods. And I thought those rails further into the woods, I thought they were a second siding, but I believe I was mistaken. In 1908, Western Fuel Company built an interchange track. I think they were down in the Nanaimo waterfront area. Built a track to interchange with the ENN at Stockett Junction. And I believe that the second set of rails I found in the woods here at Stockett are a remnant from that old Western Fuel interchange track from 1908. Interestingly enough, later on in 1955, when the ENN built the Wellcox Spur, they utilized a portion of the Western Fuel grade, which is now the south leg of the Y to Wellcox. So I'm coming back to Stockett, to mile 70, to investigate further the mystery set of tracks in the woods that I believe is the old interchange track from Western Fuels. I'd like to thank knowledgeable people, mainly a knowledgeable man named Ted, for pointing this out to me. And I'd like to thank a knowledgeable person named Maynard, who had provided a list of ENN railway infrastructure points, which included notes on this. So I'm going to blend this return video footage into some of my original footage from a week previous when I was here midday. You'll notice the lighting is different. And in my original video footage, you will notice that I mistakenly refer to the Western Fuel tracks as a second siding. And you'll also just observe the way I kind of was surprised by it. Onward. I enjoy the discovery aspect of seeing something on the map, having a rough idea what it's going to look like, and then discovering it. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting this. There's a tree running through it. So this is definitely not the south leg of the Y. This is an old siding at Stockett. I didn't realize the rails were still here. Let me just follow it and see how far north the rails go. I'm not going in the weeds. Just backpedaled a little bit, and here's where Stockett Siding north end ends. One rail here, and I'm thankful for the shade. Okay, looking south now at the north end of the old Stockett Siding, where the rail is just right here, along with the remnants of some ties. Port Alberni style ties, not bad. Wow, I was not expecting this. North end of Stockett Siding, the longer rail, the tie. And there's the next rail. And the siding goes into the weeds, and later on the trees. Continuing south, here's some more of Stockett Siding. Rail, weeds. Into the siding. There's a tree in the way. This will make a good photograph. There's more right there on that leg. Interesting. So if this is the siding, it hasn't been used for a long time, as evidenced by a 30-year-old tree maybe, then is this the leg of the Y? And if it is, I thought it was operational, and these trees tell me otherwise. Unless this was a second siding at Stockett, and it might be. Let's get a better view. Yeah, it is, because right through there is the actual clear grade of the actual leg. I'm just going to walk down to it. So I've got 4 rail lines here. I've got the south leg of the Wellcox Spur heading back west here. Here's the short siding with the end of track signified by some nice alder trees. Continues on through here a little bit, right in the middle of the rails. Then the main siding, and then the main line. Wow. So that's looking down to the Wellcox Spur south leg. I'm standing above the shorter second siding. The rail right here. Now I cross to the main siding. And then the main line. And into the sun. And coming up is the station sign for Stockett. The railway term for Chase River neighborhood. Meanwhile, the main siding continues on and on. I just got my foot caught between some old ties. I'm here in the remnants of the second siding. Coming back up to the main siding and the station sign. Still got the rails beside me. And the view of Stockett. Continuing south and wondering where the old Stockett siding will end. And by the way, it's still got spikes right there. Who knows? I'll just keep following this. I thought I was going to be exploring the Wellcox Spur legs, and instead, right away, or partway through the video, depending on how I edit this, I come across this old siding. Wow. Here's some more of the siding with moss covered ties. That's a nice view. And here's where the siding ends. Similar to the north end, the south end of the old Stockett siding, just naked ends of the rails. So now it's back to a week later, and I'm at mile 70 on the E&N main line, and now I'm going to explore a bit further what I believe is the Western Fuel interchange track from 1908. So here is the Stockett Siding. Careful not to step into ties. All sorts of old timbers in the ground here. So here are the tracks. The mound of trees that I saw from last week, and looking a ways south. So I'm going to explore in and see how far this goes. Depending on what I find, this could be a very quick exploration, or I could get sidetracked with fun detail again. So walking south, keeping track of where the rails are. There's a very old tie right here. One rail end. The other rail I can't find. Here's this rail. Playing around looking at everything that's got covered with moss, wondering if it's a rail or a tie or just a branch. The height of the growing season in spring is probably not the smartest time to do this. But there is no more rail down here. Here's the end of it that I saw here. But I'm stubborn, and I got time. That's wood. The Stockett Siding, and there's still ties here. Got a tie right in front of me, another few, but no rails, and I'm standing on a tie. So there's no old Western Fuel rails here, but the clearing I am in is indicative of what must have been the station or section house at Stockett. Typical clearing right off the siding and the station sign. And there's all sorts of wood in the ground here. And so, who knows what was here? I'll go back northward. So I'm walking again northwards now through the woods. Here's the old bones of old ties. I don't know if that was just to support something for the Stockett station site. I'll walk through here carefully, not to get my feet caught between old parts of the ties. Yeah, there's no rails. Keep waiting to hear a clang. big strong tie. There's a few strong ties here by the trees. Nothing to indicate rails. That's okay, this is just one direction I've struck out on. I can go north of these rails and see if I find something. There's the end of the Western Fuel Rail. I'll get in a little bit closer, but first the scene. The morning sun is just coming up, so there's E&N mainline and Stockett Siding. Here's my mystery rail, and through the sun, through there, is the Wellcox Spur. Old rails, interesting to me. Don't really know what I'm looking for, but it does look interesting. The bugs are killing me. Really annoying. Okay, where does the second rail start? I'm not going to see it. I might feel it. Sure, I'm making noise. And I'm right where it should be. Here's where it starts. Just a loose guy. So perhaps this bit of rails was just left over. They didn't remove it for whatever reason, and they removed everything else. Perhaps this would make a nice photograph. Oh, rail. What kind of stories can you tell? There's a tie plate right there. Tie plate. So I'm on a tie. There's the wood. And here's looking in. Okay, let's see if there are any evidence of rails north of this mound. And there's a rail sticking out. I'll just look further down here as I walk across here. Not feeling any rails. And all I'm getting is wood. Here's the end of the rails. What you can't see are all the mosquitoes on my hand as I'm doing this. And just being stubborn and keeping a steady hand. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I was hoping there'd be a whole lot more, but there's not. But if this is the only remnant of an interchange from 1908 with Western Fuel Company Railway, then it was nice to see. If it's not, and I've been completely wrong, hey, it's been fun exploring and speculating. Here's Stockett Siding, the E&N mainline. I'm heading north again. Always intrigued by what just might be in there. You never know. I'll just take one last look. A really big ant hill through there. And that's about it. It's just here. I'll make a nice photograph. I think I'll play around with this. Okay, now I'm leaving for reals. There's Stockett looking south. Mile 70 sign. I'll head back to where I came from. 10th Street in South Nanaimo. And I think 10th Street, before it was pushed through, was originally part of Junction Avenue. Because the level crossing I'm going to come to is listed as Junction Avenue on a chart I have